All right. We are here. We are back. We are joined by a very special guest. But I'll tell you what, this is going to be a pretty important episode. So I hope people really watch, pay attention to understand the grave importance of what we're about to hear. Dusty, any words?
Well, I do, but I had questions before you restarted, but no, you're good.
Did you just fucking throw up?
Yeah, how can you tell? From international diamond dealer to government fraud investigator, Greene County Sentinel News founder, we got John Stafford here. What's going on, man?
Well, we're here in Greene County, Ohio, and we're fighting for the veterans' money. For the last 2 decades, the Greene County commissioners have been spending almost $40 million if they hadn't used veterans' money. The last decade, it's been over $20 million, and we're trying to get it so that the veterans in Greene County get the full amount of money that's set aside for them. And it's been an uphill battle. The commissioners, of course, do not want to give up this money. In our question that we ask them every Thursday, there's a commissioner meeting, and basically I get thrown out of every meeting. They've got 2 sheriff deputies and a prosecutor there because they're trying to control my free speech. And really, it's about my question.
Yeah,
where's the veterans' money?
I watched some of those videos. Hey, Rusty, can you throw one of those videos up of the dickhead getting in his face? So from what I was informed about this guy's, he's an ex-Marine Corps veteran. And so now he's with the city, and he doesn't give a shit.
Actually on the, he's on the Veterans Commission, and he's an ex-policeman. And his name's Chuck Hurley, and Chuck doesn't like me being there. Now, you would think that being on the Veterans Board and having a citizen there, especially a citizen with the influence that we have with the newspaper, that he would want to get as much money for the veterans as possible. It's the exact opposite. Chuck doesn't want me talking about where's this additional money. And so in the video, when you play it, you can see Chuck lose his mind.
But it seems like he's got a conflict of interest, him coming from, he's working for the police force, but also, or he's got Leo background, and he's also, dealing with the veterans community, which is actually funding the jailhouse and everything like that there. Everything that's essentially putting veterans in jail that may be having a PTSD attack or, situation, if they're having these breakdowns, if they're psychotic, if they're going through these mental health crises. And this guy gets in your face and completely doesn't use what I would expect a Marine Corps veteran and a law enforcement member to show. Okay, we got the video right here.
I have a question for you.
I have no comment. I'm not talking.
Where is the unspent veterans money that the Greene County commissioners have been taking? Do you know where the money is? I know that they give you the amount of money that you ask for.
I am not being interviewed by you.
Do you not know where the money is? You represent the veterans. We want to know where the unspent millions of dollars.
I'm not on duty. You're an asshole. I'm not talking to you. You may post that all you want.
That. It shows that you should de-escalate and probably shouldn't be in the position that you are, Chuck. I am always polite, Chuck. I'm asking a question. Where's the millions of dollars of unspent veterans money?
Okay, real simple. We are not having a meeting at the moment.
Okay.
I do not have to talk to you, and I'm not.
Well, I'm asking the question.
And I'm not answering.
Last year, you guys were appropriated approximately $3.3 million. You asked for approximately $1 million $50,000. What happened to the other $2.3 million the commissioners took? Do you know? Apparently not. You should be ashamed of yourself for acting like this.
You should be ashamed of yourself.
You know, he made a remark about getting in you getting in his face, and he obviously you weren't. You had what 12, 15 feet between y'all. He comes up, gets in your face. I don't know how you didn't clock him. You know, I'd break a dude's nose doing that shit to me.
Well, when I do these interviews, I'm always polite, and I don't want to try to antagonize anybody because that's what they want to have happen. They want to be able to say that I was disruptive, that they try to throw me out of the meeting, but that's not what's going on. And Chuck's upset because he doesn't want to upset this position that he has. I mean, they don't get paid a lot of money to be on the board, but they do get benefits, and it is a prestigious position. But what most people don't realize is that these veterans are appointed to this board by the very people that are taking the veterans' money. And so, me asking this question is why I've been getting thrown out of the Greene County Commissioners meetings. They don't want to answer it. And I think the best way to explain this is from a 2015 article from the Dayton Daily News that a former commissioner by the name of Rick Perales was also a veteran. And this is what Rick said in an article on the 4th of July of all days in 2015 to the Dayton Daily News. And this is what Rick said. If they get the whole amount of money, meaning the veterans, that means the sheriff's office doesn't get enough or the auditor's office doesn't get enough, Perales said, talking about why the veterans of Greene County are not getting the money set aside for them and it is being spent elsewhere.
Hold up. So he's saying that if veterans get all of the money that was allocated for the veterans, specifically for that, then he's going to complain that there's not enough money for other services that they didn't allocate and they didn't request for. That's his argument that he's making?
Well, he's saying that if the veterans get all their money, they can't spend it on other projects. Give you an example. When I asked the administrator, the Greene County Commissioners, his name is Brandon Huddleston. I said, Brandon, why are not the veterans getting the full amount of money that they're due? And Brandon said to me, well, John, if we give the veterans all the money that's due, we can't pay for the new jail. And in Greene County, they just built a brand new $65 million jail. And so my question has been to the veterans and to the commissioners, did you use veterans money for this? And if you did, why didn't you instead take that money and build treatment facilities for the Greene County veterans that are suffering from PTSD or suffering suicidal tendencies? They don't have an answer. They want to spend the money, and they justify this by saying that this is how it's always been done. Other counties are also doing it, and they're trying to justify their bad behavior by other communities' bad behavior. This is the veterans' money. The statute is very clear that this money, whatever money is not asked for, has to be put in a separate protected account and only to be used for the veterans. It is not to be commingled into the general fund of the commissioners to spend, and that's what they've been doing. And my feeling is just because this is how you've always done it doesn't mean it's not against the law. And so they have, I've become the focus of their attack because I want to give the veterans their money. My dad was a disabled Korean War vet, had to fight for everything that he ever got from the Veterans Administration. And so this issue is very dear to my heart. I do not want to see veterans in Greene County sleeping in their cars or their trucks during the wintertime. I want to see them be able to get the help that they need. The money's there. They just don't want to give it to them.
I mean, that whole fucking excuse of, well, this is the way we've always done it. It takes me back to when I was enlisted, like asking the question, like, well, why do you why do you do it this way? Like, that's just the way we always done it. I was like, okay, but what's the justification? Like, like, what's the instruction? What's the, like, what is the regulation that shows that this has to be done this way? Because, like, when we're trying to make a change for the better, for more efficient, whatever it may happen, it was like, we're like, well, this is the way we do it. I'm like, okay, well, why do you do that way? I was like, that's just the way we always end. They don't give an actual fucking answer or like a real reason as to why. And it's like,
No,
okay,
they're not going to give you an answer.
yeah. And it's just, it's like, have we not learned how to be grown-ups here? Like, it's just fucking ridiculous.
Well, this is their position. This is what they say. Well, we give the veterans all the money that they ask for. Are you kidding me?
If that was true, you wouldn't be stealing it.
Well, when you look at the numbers, give you an idea. Let's just talk about, if we just go back 3 years, but let's talk about 2025. In 2025, they were given approximately $3.4 million. The budget that the Veterans Service Board asked for was only $1,098,667. Okay. The actual wages and benefits from the director and his employees there, out of that $1,098,000 was $847,923. The actual financial assistance they gave to the veterans in Greene County in 2025 was $46,528. That is despicable. It's morally reprehensible that our veterans are fighting. And so part of the way they get these veterans not even to apply for benefits is they give them a packet to apply for benefits. It's 15 pages long.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, they get a packet that's 10 pages long to explain how to fill out the 15 pages. Because basically, they don't want the veterans to apply for the benefits.
Yeah.
It's a shame. I'm embarrassed. And, all of these commissioners like to say, like Rick Morales, he likes to say, oh, I'll take a bullet for a veteran. But what Rick won't do is give the veterans the money that they are deserving of. And that has been set aside for them by Ohio statute. And they're just not doing it.
Did they at least name the jail after a decorated war hero? Like, for God's sakes.
Oh, no. No, they named it after a former sheriff. And when I went, there's a video that's on our page, and I can send it to you guys, where I actually go up to the sheriff, his name's Sheriff Anger, and I ask him if they use the veterans' money to help build this jail. And he refuses to answer, walks away.
Yep, I get that. Go ahead and I'll bring that up. I mean, to be fair, it looks like a magnificent jail. Fuck.
Oh, the jail's beautiful. I think that they could have taken the money that was supposed to go to the veterans and built a beautiful veteran center that can help provide treatment for the veterans in Greene County.
Yeah.
Is it this video that you're talking about?
No, the video that you have up is Commissioner Kugler, who kind of loses his marbles because I'm outside. I'm going to ask him a question. I had just been thrown out at the commissioners' meeting for trying to ask about the veterans' money. So I took my camera. I went outside to ask this commissioner, who refuses to answer any questions, because what they've done is circle the wagon and make it such that when you're in these meetings, you really can't ask any questions, and they'll just throw you out. They use the sheriff deputies like they're bouncers in the commission meeting.
So this is a follow-up video to the video where they were messing with the time or whatever originally. Is that what this is?
Yeah.
Rusty, pull up that other video first before this one.
Hang on, I'm getting there.
I have a video of Sheriff Anger that I can send you guys that you can watch, but it's the same question I've been asking for almost a year and a half. Where's the unspent veterans money? And when I asked Brandon Huddleston about that, he gives me this excuse. And, I've been in business as an independent businessman for 50 years, and I've never heard anything so silly in my whole life. Huddleston said, well, it's kind of like a cup of coffee when you put cream in it. You stir it around, and you can't really separate the coffee from the cream. It's the most ridiculous statement I've ever heard. Where's the veterans' money and why isn't it in a separate protected account as per the state statute?
Mm-hmm.
They just won't answer.
It should have been the one where
This one?
Yeah.
Okay.
Name and address.
Time starts when I start.
No, it doesn't. It starts when we say it starts. It starts right now. Name and address.
It's John Stafford. I'm with the Greene County Sentinel News, P.O. Box 910, Lot 1694, Columbus, Ohio. The comments today, I'm going to address the comments by Mr. Huddleston from the last meeting where he addressed
you're out of order.
He addressed the veterans' money.
Time is gone.
The propaganda narrative presented at the last meeting is nothing but a smoke screen to hide what has been going on for decades. It is clear that the commissioners and their administrator do not understand the breadth and depth of my question, or they are part of the largest scandal in the history of Greene County. You escorting me off the premises is an exact reason why there's going to be a federal lawsuit for civil rights violations against this commission and you individually. Thank you very much.
Jesus.
I'm going to take that gavel and shove it up his ass.
Well, there's probably 30 videos that are similar to that. They've made it such that, when you go up there and you've got 3 minutes, there are silly rules about what I'm allowed to say or not say does not supersede my God-given rights as an American and my free speech. And that's what they're trying to do. This is not about anything but censoring and having a chilling effect because they don't want anybody talking about it.
Yeah.
And if you're not allowed to talk about it, then they think it goes away.
Yeah, because it's a public assembly, so you have the right to go up and speak. So just so I was trying to understand what he was saying, was his argument that he was making in that assembly that you were trying to talk about something that wasn't on the agenda that day? Was that the argument he was trying to make? Okay.
Their thing is that you're only allowed to talk during the 3 minutes of public comments about what's on the agenda. You can't go up there and talk about something that you want to talk about. It's only what they're allowing you to talk about. So if it's not on the agenda that they have for that day, you can't talk about it.
Is that written anywhere, as a rule?
Oh, it's their own silly rules that they brought up. It's unenforceable. But what they've done is brought into the sheriff department, like I said, to act as their bouncers. I think that, using law enforcement to try to stop criticism or
to violate the First Amendment
from talk. Of course. I mean, it's under threat of arrest.
Yeah.
If you don't leave when they say to leave, they're going to arrest you.
That's unconstitutional.
So that's what's been happening with me. Well, my thing is, I've got a favorite saying as Isaiah 6:8-13. Then I heard the voice of the Lord. Whom shall I send? Who will go for us? Here I am, send me. I will give a voice, and I've been giving a voice to the veterans of Greene County. And I will endure the slings and arrows from these people to speak the truth about what they've been doing. I am unafraid of these commissioners. I'm unafraid of the judges, and I'm unafraid of the prosecutors. They are refusing to do what is right. They only want to do what's easy.
Yeah.
And I'm at that age finally where I'm just not going to take a knee to them. I'm going to stand up for our veterans. I'm going to do what's right, and I'm going to endure the slings and arrows from these people. And the best way for us to get rid of these people is to have them voted out of office. And come May, one of the commissioners by the name of Dick Gould, we think because of our efforts, he's going to be defeated. And what really makes these commissioners upset is that, the newspaper online has about almost 80,000 viewers, but the views on the page the last 90 days, I just checked it last night, is at 30 million views. This is why they're so upset. People and veterans from across the country are seeing this, and it's also happening in their state, in their county. And in Ohio, we've got 88 counties, and I would say this is probably happening in probably 80 of the counties out of the 88. So it's not just Greene County. The veterans deserve the money. We looked at the numbers in the state of Ohio. We estimate the amount of money that is being taken. If you just take $2 million times 88 counties, that's, 172,000 plus dollars, $172 million a year that they're taking that should be going to the veterans. And
Yeah,
excuse me
that's
if my math's wrong. I'm just
no,
winging
no.
it
You're
here.
look,
But
you're going off
it's
the
a
head. You're
lot
good.
of money, and this is why they're fighting about it. And they're upset that we've shown a light into the darkness about what they're doing. How you take money from the veterans that that is due to them, I just don't understand it.
176 million.
Yeah, it's that's across the state of Ohio every year. In Greene County, the last decade, it's over 20 million. Think about the building that they could have built for veteran services, veterans treatment. We could even have, facilities for the veterans so that during the wintertime they're not sleeping in their cars or in the park.
Yeah.
And
Absolutely.
it's just wrong.
Well, so did your father ever use any county veteran services or anything? Is your father still alive or?
Now, my dad's passed. He was about 80% plus disabled. When he was in the Korean War, a grenade blew up behind him. And back then, when he was, going to the VA for services and stuff, it was just a constant fight,
Mm-hmm.
and over the years, I can still remember my mother periodically would get the tweezers and pull a piece of shrapnel out of his back that
Jesus.
would, come up to the skin because eventually it
Yeah.
comes up. And it was just hard. So this idea that we have veterans that are not able to get the services they need or the help that they need, I don't know how these commissioners sleep with themselves. To know that they've taken this money and they're spending it on whatever project they want. They were going to take one of the questions that we had, they were going to build a new courthouse in Xenia. And we helped stop that, but they were going to write a check for $23 million for it. And so my question was to them, how much of the $23 million is the veterans' money?
Mm-hmm.
They don't want to answer. They claim that they can't track where the actual veterans' money has went to. All of these millions of dollars of unused veterans' money, and they can't track it.
My question is are there people in the veteran services community there that are complicit, that are essentially working with other organizations that are saying, hey, let's not ask for more money because we'll get this, in the back end?
Well, that's
Or
the actual veterans board. They've loaded them up with political cronies that they can ask for the full amount, they never do. And it's the director for veteran services. He's in the pocket of the county commissioners. He's making great money, probably close to $200,000 a year with benefits, and no one wants to upset the apple cart. So
Working for the county, he's making that much?
Yeah, he's veteran services director. These guys, when I go into their offices and stuff, think about this. In 2025, out of just the million, let's say 1,100,000 they asked you, they only gave $46,000, 528 to the veterans. That's all the veterans. There's 16,000 veterans in Greene County. And I think that this money went to less than 3 dozen people. So it's a sad state. I think that it can be fixed. There are some counties in Ohio here that have stopped doing this. But it's a hard thing for them to do because, this is, $2.4 million a year that they're spending on everything else. So,
at those kind of numbers, every one of those damn veterans should have a free house. You know what I mean? They should have some sort of incentives. You know what I mean? Like, That's not that many veterans for that area.
Well, they don't want to give them the money. They've refused to give them the money. They don't want to talk about it. You know, they threaten me with arrest every time I go into a county commission's meeting, except for this last meeting. They've got a prosecutor coming into every meeting now. And because I've threatened to file a federal civil lawsuit against them for violating my free speech rights,
Yeah.
they've been forced to kind of let me. At this last meeting, I got to talk for the full 3 minutes. But they're not happy about it. And they're really not happy that this has gone national. And when this podcast is broadcast, what they're trying to do now, because we had published some of the stuff from Veterans for Trump, they're attacking the messenger, which is me.
Mm-hmm.
I'm
Of
the
course.
bad guy.
Of course.
You know, I'm the bad guy because I want to give veterans more money, more services, more benefits.
Or at least the
And,
money that they say they're going to get. I mean, how about that?
Yeah.
Well, all the taxpayers, this is coming out of property tax money. I don't know one property owner that doesn't want to help the veterans.
Yeah.
Do veterans
But when I
pay?
talk,
Do veterans pay property taxes where y'all are or not?
yes.
Even if
And-
you're
and-
even if you're 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is part of the problem. And right now in Ohio, we're kind of being credited for this property tax revolt that's going on. It started in 2019, and now it looks like it is probably going to be on the ballot for November, this coming up November, that we may be able to vote to eliminate all property taxes in the state of Ohio, which has those that, benefit from these huge property taxes. They're upset about it.
Yeah.
So it's the same thing with me saying, let's just give the veterans all their money. I mean, I don't know how hard that is or why I'm, the bad guy in this argument.
No.
Who doesn't want to give the veterans their money?
No,
Come every election.
Look,
Come every
it's
election,
super shitty that you're doing the right thing here. And I'm going to say you're the only good party in this situation, which I know you're not. I know there's other people that are going on this good fight with you that are, trying to look out for the veterans and looking out for what's right and wrong is wrong. But the fact that these bureaucrats are making it out, they're completely vilifying you and anyone dealing with this situation. The fact that y'all are the villains and everyone that's talking out against it is the villains, and they're high and mighty on their high horses of, oh, we can't talk about it, we don't know, but we're not the bad guys here, you're the bad guy for even talking about this. That's shitty. Like, that's real
it's
shitty.
So bad that in Greene County, the veterans don't even want to show up to support now. I get hundreds of emails each week from veterans just in Greene County, but they're like, John, we're too afraid. We see what they're doing to you, the retaliation that they're doing to you, your family, your former business. I can't have that happen to us, but we're supporting you, and so people are afraid. They don't want to stand up and say anything, but yet, from my emails nationally, I think I have currently maybe 35,000 unanswered emails that I've received from veterans across the country that are upset about this and want to know what they can do to help the veterans in Greene County, because they're having similar problems in their own states.
It sounds like a lot of quid pro quo, here. That's honestly what it sounds like to me.
So the veterans there, you're saying that do support you. They're showing hesitation, to speak up publicly because of they see what's happening to you. Is that what you're saying, right?
Oh yeah, and if they are getting any benefits, they're afraid of those benefits being cut off. I mean, this is the retaliation for standing up and speaking the truth. They're afraid and have this atmosphere of intimidation.
I understand, like I do, because depending on depending on their situation. Now, the entire country is in a very, dire strait of the economy and everything like that. So depending on your
Right.
situation, I understand the fear behind it. I do. My response to some of these veterans, to be blunt, but also in a respectful manner, but to be blunt is, um, you took an oath to defend the Constitution from domestic and foreign, tyranny. And this is a type of domestic tyranny that they're stealing your appropriated funds, and then they're trying to censor you in your First Amendment right. I would say, hey, remember what you took the oath for and what you enlisted for to serve this country. Now, yeah, you have these public officials that are supposed to be standing by your side, but we all know that we shouldn't trust the government because the government fucking sucks. But I do get the type of fear that can come from it, because it is intimidating. It really is, because when you're a single person, just a regular Joe, every day, not doing much, and then you have a government entity wanting to come after you because you're just speaking the truth of, hey, uh, my benefits that are supposed to be coming through this county are getting stolen or misappropriated, and we have a right to know, and then they want to attack you for it. I get that, it sucks, but I would just like to say publicly to those veterans, like, hey, the fear should not stop you from doing what's right. You took the oath once. This is the same oath that you still should support and defend the Constitution, and that part of that Constitution is to enforce and help John stand here for his First Amendment right. Don't let the county silence him. Be a different arm or branch to go and speak up for this. Speak up for this. This fraud, this and everything that would need to get addressed.
Well, I agree with that. I mean, I gave a speech to the commissioners, and it was titled Oath Breakers. They all gave an oath that they were going to follow the law, but yet they don't do it. They're only interested when it's election time, like the primary Republican elections that's coming up here in May. They're going to promise everything, but once they get elected, they don't care.
Nope. And I feel like that's for everywhere, from the very bottom of electorate to the very top of the electorate, as we see now.
Right.
We all get a bunch of promises. We all get a bunch of, hey, we're going to do this for you. But as soon as we're in, I'll get to it when I feel like it, because I'm in power now. I'm just going to focus on me. And that's what I fucking can't stand about this shit.
What all personal attacks and like retribution have you seen from the county from this?
Well, they're actively trying to, arrest me at these meetings, or trying to limit my ability to question them. I mean, my family and I had to move out of Greene County because of the threats we've been receiving since 2019. We actually had a note that was put on my car that someone said that they were offered money to put Roundup in the well at my house. And we moved that very week.
You still got that note?
No.
Damn.
But it's something that, they think it's this idea that if they can't shut down your voice, that they're going to come after you. It's a Charlie Kirk effect. If they can't shut down your voice and what you're saying, and you're gaining an audience, then they think it's all right to physically attack you. It's like, I've been assaulted now in the last, I would say, 8 weeks, 3 different times.
Like
And the
physically?
police refused to prosecute. Yeah. And it's on tape, it's on tape. They don't want to prosecute it. I just had last week where I'm at a political event and someone comes up and grabs my hand and tries to take the cell phone out of my hand. Well, that's assault.
Yep.
In Ohio.
And attempted theft.
In Ohio. Yeah. Well, in Ohio, because I'm a senior citizen, it's an enhanced charge.
Yeah.
But they don't want to prosecute anybody. And I've told the prosecutors, what's happening now is you're emboldening these people to think it's okay to incite violence against me.
Yeah.
You see the videos. I'm very nice, and I'm not threatening to anyone. But yet they think that the use of violence and force against me is acceptable. So that's what scares, the veterans, and it scares any other citizen. I don't I don't have anything negative to say about the veterans that are too afraid to come in. I understand it. You know, who wants to come in and then have your picture put up and they put fake Facebook pages about you and they attack you, your family, because you're just exercising your free speech rights. And that's what they do in Greene County. It's kind of the same way across the United States to anybody who's willing to go against the grain of these people that are in power.
And you're saying the prosecuting attorney won't prosecute, right?
Nope, nope, they won't prosecute them. You know, in Greene County, and it's probably the same way in most counties, we have what's called this monarchy of power, where we have people that think they're born into this, it's their turn, and that's why we can't get anybody new to come into the party and run for office because they don't get any support. And this, we call it in Greene County the good old boy system.
Yeah.
It's got to end. In Ohio, here in Greene County, this is where our traitorous governor Mike DeWine is from, and we can't wait to get rid of Mike DeWine. He's been a problem, and he just recently supported Amy Action, saying that the political ads being put up by Vivek are inaccurate, which they're not. You know, we've got a Republican governor that's trying to help the Democratic candidate get elected. There's something wrong in Ohio.
Yeah. So I'm going to put this Greene County prosecuting attorney on blast, David D. Hayes.
Yeah, I actually, for the record, I supported Hayes. I donated money, and he's been the biggest disappointment. He's another one of these guys that are ladder climbers. He's doing anything he can to try to get appointed as a judge, you know, and they don't want to do anything to rock the boat. They do not want to do what's right, because that's not what's easy. They only want to do what's right. They want all the political elites to like them, and you know, I personally think David Hayes is trying to get Mike DeWine to appoint him as a judge if something comes open. So it's a sad state.
Yeah, it's shitty.
You know, when we have prosecutors picking winners and losers, it's a problem.
Yeah, you know, we see corruption everywhere, but the amount that is happening in this small community there, and God, like it's send them motherfuckers out to pasture. Yeah, they need to go out to pasture already. You know, that's kind of how I look at it. Like, at least, you know, me and Rusty, we're out of Texas, and so look, we're essentially untouchable to them. We can say whatever the hell we want, do whatever the hell we want down here, and we're too far away for them to come put, you know, raid or, you know, round up or whatever in our water.
I fucking dare them to, motherfuckers, dude.
Hey, we put that happened on a Saturday. By that next Friday, our house was put up for sale and sold in 2 hours.
Goddamn.
We had to get out of Greene County.
And see, and that's what's even worse is that the government entity there forced you to leave your home. And that to me right there cannot further explain, like, because you see this dude, David D. Hayes, because what is, you know, all of these types of people that say, well, Republicans support veterans. Republicans are the ones that are trying to make sure that veterans are taken care of. Well, this dude is David D. Hayes, a prosecuting attorney for Greene County in Ohio. He's labeled as a Republican. But now we're sitting here watching him failing to do anything in regards to what has happened to you, a veteran, the fucking shit that's going on with the misappropriated funds, stolen, whatever is going on, because nobody fucking knows and they don't want to say. He's not doing a goddamn thing. He's refusing to do anything. So it's like, you can't sit here and say, oh, well, Republicans care about veterans. No, nobody cares about a fucking thing but themselves when they get into that type of power. As soon as they're bought and paid for by donors, that's all they care about is their donors. Once they get in those fucking powers,
I agree 100% with that. You know, you know, Greene County is 70% Republican. You think that with 70% control in Greene County, that the veterans issue would be number one. It's just not. It's like even in the Republican Party, we have what's called a Republican club, and the head of that Republican club, his name's Brad Diegler. Now, this is a guy that told me, as editor of the newspaper, that he was a retired full bird colonel. Well, that was an out and out lie.
What?
He was not a full
What?
bird colonel. Oh yeah, and he's still the president of the Republican club in Greene County.
Holy
And
shit.
yeah, I put a video up today where I asked one of the Republican club members, who's a Sugar Creek Township trustee, about that. And she said, well, it wasn't Brad that said it. It was his dead wife that said that. Now, she throws the dead wife under the bus, but I had to say to her in the video, I said, listen, he said this to me directly. It wasn't his dead wife.
Give a
You know, the video's
goddamn
on the
who
page
said
if you
it. If
wanna
he's
see it.
fucking if he's not owning up to the fact, oh no, I'm not fuck him.
Oh, I've got multiple videos where I asked this guy, you know, show me your card, you know, prove that you're a retired colonel, you know, full bird colonel. I've met full bird colonels, and they are proud of that. They have no problem with saying, you know, and showing proof. But this Brad Diegler won't do it. And it's Greene County's a mess. The Republican Party in Greene County's a mess, and we're trying to clean it up.
God. Yeah.
This is why we don't subscribe to either side anymore. We used to be, you know, Republicans, conservatives, like that used to be what we identify
Right.
as. But it's like, if anything, this right now, this current administration, from the House to Senate to up to the executive, they're showing and proving how useless they are with full control, because they're getting nothing done. And they're holding none of the promises, none of the standards that they ran on, which is why we finally are like, you know, fuck this. I did not sit here and like try to fight and talk to people about like, look, you guys are wrong and this and that and this and Trump is this and Trump is that and stuff like that. Granted, I still play into the fact, not playing to, I still go to like the Russia thing was a hoax. We all know that. They tried to throw him in jail on false pretenses. We all know that. That's all fine and dandy. And we thought that he was
Right.
going to actually like go up there and like run on a kind of a vengeance spree, but hold people accountable for all this shit. And then nothing is
Right.
happening. And he's going exactly against everything he fucking ran on. And it's just really upsetting. It's like, no, both sides are in on it together at the lowest level all the way to the top. It's a uniparty and this fucking shit is all corrupt.
Well, see, in Greene County, I'm as hard on the Republicans as I am on the Democrats.
Mhm.
If you run for office, do your damn job.
Yeah.
Okay. We have people right now that are running for office, but they really don't want that position. They want the next position.
It's just a stepping stone.
And I'm tired of this. You know, we can't get any new people in because they can't get any party support. You know, we want people that are actually going to support the citizens of our community, and that's not what we're getting. You know, everybody wants the next position. They want to climb that political ladder, and they want to become career politicians, and I'm tired of it. And,
It's back to what I keep saying over and over again, week after week. These politicians, it needs to be like a jury pool. Like the individuals that want to run, that are legitimately wanting to run, they always have ulterior motives. Like it's self-serving interests, and Greene County is the poster child showing that self-serving. That's all it is. And God, like I'm wondering how much of these funds, these veteran funds, are in some way, because you and I both know, and you've owned a business before, you know how easy it is to move money and change hands and everything. How much of this money is actually going into some of these individuals' pockets? Because some of these individuals might own certain little companies, whether it's a landscaping company that gets a government contract, or a construction company, or this, that, the other. How much of this veteran funds is actually funneling into individuals' pockets rather than into the betterment of veterans' life?
What you're saying, Dustin, because John, correct me if I'm wrong, when you started all this, you said that the original amount that was requested was like $1,098,000, something around there, right?
Right.
Okay. And then the county or whatever, like, got like about 80% of that, was like
2.3.
2.3. Okay. Now, what I'm looking here, because you did mention that only about 46,000 in direct financial assistance to veterans was actually
Came out of
yeah.
came out of the $1,098,000.
Yeah, but then here, what I'm seeing, because I just typed it in to see what it could in Grok to see what it could find. It says nearly 850,000 of that $1,098,000 went to the Veterans Service Commission's employee salaries and benefits.
Yeah. Yeah.
So over 80% of that $1,098,000 just went to the VSC's salaries and benefits.
Yeah. And
How
then
many
the unused money,
How many employees
the
do they
unused
have?
couple $1 million. I'm not sure what the actual number is.
Let me
but
see if
the
I can find
unused
it.
veterans money then went all to the Greene County commissioners, and they code a little bit into their general fund.
Mm-hmm.
That's why they don't want to give the veterans all their money. Personally, I think that the director of the Veteran Services should be fired.
Yeah.
The complete Veterans Board needs to be removed. Veterans that actually are concerned about helping their fellow veterans need to be appointed. And we need to get a new veterans director in there that's going to fight. And how can we have a veterans director in Greene County that's not demanding the full amount of money, or that he says this is a ridiculous statement? Well, we get all the money that we need. How is that possible? You only asked for $1 million and you could have had 3.4.
They
Why
say
aren't you asking for the remainder?
They say that, but there better not be one fucking homeless veteran in that county. There better not be one drug addict. See, and that's the problem. How are you asking for all your?
They're not helping them. They don't care. We had a veteran show up. His name is Jim Beebe, and I've got several videos with him. He's the veteran that's holding the flag. And Jim went up to talk to the county commissioners, and he got to talk for maybe 10 seconds before they made him get away from the podium under threat of arrest. I mean, he brought his flag and everything. They wouldn't let Jim talk.
The Veteran Service Commission is refusing to let a veteran talk. I mean, that to me, that's
this was actually it. This was at the Greene County Commissioners meeting. They've become tyrants. Jim wanted to talk about where the veterans' money is, and they said, well, it's not on our agenda, so you can't talk about that. Who does that? It's 3 minutes. I can listen to anything for 3 minutes. And this idea that these boards and commissions are trying to control your free speech, my free speech, it's a danger. And it can't be tolerated. It's got to stop.
So
yeah,
from what I looked up, it says that there's approximate, it's not a exact, but 10 employees on the VSC.
Yeah. Well, take the 10 and divide out
that's what I'm doing right now.
847,000.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing.
Does it list what the director is making?
Executive Director Tim Espich.
Yes.
Shows a base pay of $91,220, including 33% in benefits, going up to about $121,323.
Right.
Yeah.
So I was a little off saying that it was close to 200, but it's still,
so he could be getting a third of those funds into his pocket, and then there's 9 other employees ultimately that which
am I wrong, guys, thinking that the director should be fighting for the full $3.4 million?
You're 100%.
Isn't that his job?
Yeah, so he shouldn't even have to fight for it. He should say, I need that money because we've got, these veterans out here that, we've had, let's say 20 veterans get DUIs this year, we can justify an expense to get these to an in-treatment facility as well, or outpatient treatment facility. They could doing PTSD awareness. They could be God. There's so much. Like, you drive down the road and you find out you have one veteran sitting on the side of the road that's holding up a sign, and because he's sleeping under a bridge, but you got $2 million that you didn't request or that you didn't take control of. It's bullshit. Like,
it's well, this is what the commissioners are doing right now. They want to build a brand new multi-million-dollar Board of Elections building. Now, mind you, they have a great facility now. Why don't they want to take that couple $1 million or whatever it is and build a new veteran services building where they can get treatment, they can get
a housing
counseling.
Complex.
It also could be somewhere where veterans that are homeless when it's wintertime, have a warm bed. I mean, they just don't want to do anything because they feel it's their money. It's not the veterans' money.
Is this money use or lose?
Well, this is where it gets technical. If on the veterans, they only asked for $1,090,000. What should have happened is if they weren't going to use the money, they should have given it back to the state or refunded it back to the property tax owners.
Yes.
But that's not what they're doing. They just take the money and commingle it illegally into the general fund.
Yep. They move it around to make sure that they don't lose it. Yep.
Well, this is why we had Rick Ferralis saying the comment he made in the Dayton Daily News, and then we have Brandon Huddleston saying, "Oh, well, if we give the veterans their money, we can't build the new jail." I mean, this is well, that was my point. I'm worried about the veterans. And
what's wrong?
They just don't
what's
care
wrong with the old jail?
Well, they had some problems with that old jail, and they were dictated that they had to build something new.
But that's not the veterans' problems.
You should have requested money for that.
That's my point.
You should have requested money for the fucking jail.
Well, see, what they've been doing is building up this slush fund so that instead of going to the taxpayers and say, "Will you approve this project?" they just write the check. And so how does Greene County get this tens of millions of dollars in this slush fund? This money should have been, all this is overtaxation of the property tax owners, and it should have been refunded back to the taxpayers, but it hasn't been. And so they just keep on building up this money, and it becomes, they want to build these little kingdoms for themselves and build their legacies by building. It's like in Greene County, they wanted to build this $153 million project where they'd move everything from downtown Xenia into this new justice facility. They didn't need it. They should have spent the money. And this was one of the things that we stopped. They wanted to build a brand new courthouse. And actually, through our pressure and efforts with the newspaper, we stopped it. So now we're still focusing on the veterans. We want the veterans to get all their money. We want these people removed that have been spending the veterans' money and have been associated with allowing this to happen. Where is the safeguards? Who is the canary in the coal mine saying we're not supposed to be doing this? There's no one within the government right now saying
it. You're calling them, aren't you?
Oh, they're already gone. No one's going to answer.
I hope they have a voicemail.
Hi, you've reached a message with Greene County Veteran Services. I'm not available to take your phone call right now, so please leave your name, telephone number, and a brief message, and I'll get back to you as soon as possible. Thank you very much. Bye.
Record your message at the tone. When you are finished, hang up or press pound.
Be a little bit professional.
Hi, Mr. Tim. My name's Dustin. I am a veteran, and I'm inquiring about the misappropriation of veteran funds in your county and your community. I am the owner and operator of a podcast, The DP Show. We would like to chat about this misappropriation of funds and what you are not doing for the veteran community. We see it as if you have one veteran homeless, one veteran on drugs or alcohol, then you are not utilizing the funds that you are not opting to receive properly. Could you please call me back at?
Yeah, he's not going to get a phone call. I sent a video to Dusty of Tim where I'm asking the question, where's the veterans money? And Tim won't answer.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, I know you wanted to go a little bit rougher, but let's see if we can actually entice something out of him. So that's why I
Yeah,
say
I'm
be
gonna
a
try to
little
get him
bit.
to call me back.
Yeah, that's why I said be a little bit professional, just so we can try to entice something out of him. See if he actually contacts us.
I'm calling him 10 times tomorrow. Like, well, hold on. They're probably open 8 hours a day. I'm
Well,
gonna
they
call.
probably open at 8 o'clock in the morning and they leave by 4.
Okay, I will call them every hour on an hour for the rest of the week until this motherfucker calls me back. Because
I'll be surprised if you get a call back.
I'm gonna be polite at first. If he calls me back, I'm gonna be polite at first, and then depending on what he says, and then I'm gonna chew him a new fucking asshole.
So it says the hours of operation are 8 a.m. to 4:30. So your standard workday.
Okay,
Yeah.
so all of our listeners, that phone number here, I'm gonna say this phone number. The phone number is 937 562 6029. His name is, what is his name again? Tim
Epsich?
Tim Espridge.
Tim
I think
Espridge.
that's how you pronounce it.
He's the VSO for Greene County
Veteran Service Commission.
Veteran Service Commission. Everyone call him.
Right.
Yep.
Call him and demand answers. All the veterans that listen to this, all the active guys listen to this. If you care about veterans, call this motherfucker. Tell him what you think.
They're already putting out the propaganda narrative that I'm a liar. What I'm saying is not true.
So
that I'm the bad guy.
we actually had someone comment. So when Dusty put out a call to action video on our X page, last week, right? We actually had someone comment on that video showing facts matter and like whatever like that. I tried to just bring it up just now because I wanted to I wanted to address it like, hey, they said this just to get your perspective on it. That post is gone. So there was a bot account.
Well, see, they want to put this all up anonymously, and they want to attack anonymously. So what we've been doing is shining a light onto all these people and making them internet stars.
Mm-hmm.
Like with Chuck, who acts like that? No one acts like that. Hell, I thought Chuck was going to have a stroke.
Someone with something to hide acts like that.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I agree. Dealing with these people in Greene County, I'm used to dealing with international diamond dealers and stuff. Everyone's professional. Even if we don't like each other, we can still get along. But in Greene County, the best way for me to describe these elected officials, it's like dealing with 7th grade student council members. I've never dealt with such buffoonery in my whole life. People that can't control themselves, they have no business management skills, and they think that by yelling and screaming and getting aggressive, that somehow it's going to change my mind. And I think that my demeanor of being polite and courteous just triggers them because I'm not acting how they want me to act.
Oh, God, yeah.
You know the saying, if you can't work or get rich in the private sector, go work for the government.
Yep.
Yeah.
Run for office.
I'll tell you what. What's funny is like because I've been like I speak on this on a lot of episodes, and I'm constantly like posting about it, whatever. But when I say we, I mean like us that were identifying as quote unquote MAGA and like Trump supporters and all this other stuff.
Right.
Like when we were like back when we were like that was us. Like we were this is it. We're out with the old GOP and new Republican Party kind of a shit, right? We always held ourselves at that time, and it seemed pretty unified across the entire party, above the standard of the crazy radical left of just yell in your face, call you names, and go right straight to ad hominems or whatever like that, because that's a sign of low intelligence, and you have no argument. So your immediate response is attack the person, call them names, do all that shit, be crazy, right? That has always been the radical left expression response on everything when you start to deconstruct and dismantle their argument, right? Now, it's exactly the same thing on the other side. Because now, if you don't, quote unquote, support Trump in everything he does, regardless, if you're not a mind-controlled, brainless, rotted MAGA guy, then they do the same thing to you. Like, you were never a true Trump supporter. I'm like, no, I want to put America first. I want to take care of people here, which includes our veterans, like people that are here now. I don't care what's going on overseas, but now they're just doing the exact same thing. They're gonna try to yell, scream, and say you're a traitor, you're this, that, and the other because you don't support Trump. And I was like, no, I can say I support some things he's done. I can say I don't support these things. That's what a free thinking normal person is, not a mind controlled robot that just refuses to call balls and strikes. And they're just exactly adopting the same shit on the other, on their side against people that don't want to fall in line.
Well, that's their problem. It's like, this was meant to be a slur from the left towards me, but I actually took it as a great compliment. And this is what they said about me in an open meeting. They said, well, Stafford's kind of like a cross between Rush Limbaugh and Donald Trump, but on steroids. Well, hell, that's the nicest thing anybody ever said about me.
Hey, especially Rush Limbaugh, especially comparing you to Rush Limbaugh. Shit. Congratulations. I mean, that's a tough bar to meet.
EIB network, baby. EIB network.
Wow.
Yeah. Well, I took it as a great compliment. It was supposed to be a slur, but I'm going to always do what's right, not what's easy. I mean, I get up every day and try to become a better person than I was the day before. So, I'm not going to bend the knee to these people. I'm not afraid of these people. And that is their problem with me, because they can't seem to get a wedge in to go against me.
So how do you find this rabbit hole? Like, what caused you to go down this rabbit hole and do all this that you're doing to try to get these people out there? Like, how do you find the information initially without a FOIA request?
Well, now it's become kind of an issue, meaning that everybody wants me to be the point of their spear. I'm getting every day. It's like today, I probably have 15 different emails from county commissioners, elected officials, in 4 or 5 different counties wanting me to take up the cause and expose the corruption within their county. And they want me to do in their county what I've been doing in Greene County, because our local newspaper doesn't do it. And the local communities and citizens, they want to know what the truth is. They don't want it sugar-coated. They don't want someone to give them a dog turd and put sugar on it and say, oh, it's a Tootsie Roll. That's not what I'm going to do. I'm going to tell you the good, the bad, and the ugly, whether you want to hear it or not. And that is, we've got a saying on our newspaper page that the truth is dangerous.
Oh, yeah.
And in Greene County, that's what's happened.
So I know that you talked to Vivek. How does he feel about all this?
Well, right now, I actually interviewed him at the Warren County Lincoln Day dinner. I think he's going to be one of the best governors in the state of Ohio. He's tuned in. He can work a room like no politician I've ever seen. He's concerned about the property tax issue. He's concerned about the veterans. He was so busy when I was trying to interview him. I got about, a minute and a half of his time. I felt privileged because I was the only one that that he let interview him at the meeting. I also interviewed the head of the Republican Party here in Ohio. They're concerned about the midterms. We need Republicans to turn out and vote. And so about the veterans issue, once everybody hears the truth about what's happening, it pisses them off.
Yeah.
The first question is, what are you talking about? I'm like, they're not getting all the money. They're spending it on everything else but the veterans. So, it's kind of a bipartisan issue, whether you're Republican or Democrat. Everybody has family members that have served in the military and given their life for service of their country.
Yeah.
They want the veterans taken care of, and it pisses them off. So I'm getting support from, Republicans and Democrats wanting me to do something. But, it's like anything else. Everybody's like, well, why don't you hire attorneys and go after them? And, that all takes money.
Yep.
And to raise money for things like that, it's a hard thing to do. And so we're going to continue doing what we're doing. And with podcasts like this, hopefully it gets the message out and it puts pressure on them.
Yeah. God, dude, it's just this is insane to me. Like, I mean, we've all known of tons of government fraud, waste, abuse. I mean, you have people like Nick Shirley, Tyler Rivera, and a lot of them, I wish Doge would have actually done something, but they didn't really do anything, unfortunately. But it's just like, you see nonstop fraud rampant throughout the country. It doesn't matter where it is. And it's not specific to a state, like a colored state. You know what I mean? Because Ohio's red, Texas is red. There's tons of fraud here and there. Then you have Minnesota and you have California and you have New York. There's tons of fraud there too. It doesn't matter who's in charge of the state. The government is set up to be able to waste money. And it's because everywhere you go, the government is bloated so much with too many things that they do with, we gotta start a new department for this. Like, no, because this other department that's already there could just take on that responsibility. You don't have to stand up and waste taxpayer money on a whole nother fucking department for no reason. And then it's bloated to a point where it's easy to lose money, and then nobody cares to look at it because it takes so much more work, and they're just like, we'll just request more money next year.
Well, you gotta follow the money. And I think the answer to why this fraud is allowed to continue, it's what politicians are benefiting from the fraud, meaning who's getting the political donations from those that are committing the fraud.
Yeah.
Follow the money. That's the easiest thing to do. Mm-hmm. Where's the money at, and who's benefiting it?
When was the last time they balanced a budget, passed an audit, or even had a disclosure of where their funds are going?
Well, they do an audit, but the question is not asked about the unused veterans money. That's the tipping point, and that's why there's been a complaint made to the state of Ohio auditor's office to do an investigation about where is the unused veterans money. It's not in a separate protected account as per the statute. And so we want to know where that money is.
Yeah, it should be in a similar, escrow style account. That it's ridiculous, man. Like,
they're just spending it.
Yeah, honestly, it really pisses me off. Like, it really does. And look, I live in a county that is very bluish purple, I guess, in Texas.
Right.
And I know that me and Kim were talking about it yesterday or the day before, and we're looking into some shit here locally, and we're looking into the shit there. I talked to a buddy of mine that's in Washington. We serve together. Washington State. So he's close to Fort Lewis. And what he was telling me, he says, oh man, he's like, it's like that everywhere. He's like, he goes, you think that's bad? He's like, think of being close to a military installation. He's like, they do the same shit. He's like, because all the veterans here, all they do is they go on a post and get everything done. And He goes, really, there's no use for the funds here. I was like, bro, there's always a use for the funds. He goes, I don't know. And I was like, bro, you can't be siding with this shit. And he's like, well, here we've got Fort Lewis that everyone gets everything done on. And I was like, okay, well, what about all the other communities? And I said, beyond that, I was like, it's just not right.
I'm not near
Well,
an
we
active
have
military
right
installation. You're not near an active military installation. The closest active military installations for us are in San Antonio, with the Air
Fort
Force
Hood.
bases. Well, Fort
Hood.
Hood.
Well, we've got Wright-Patterson.
Yeah. But
we've got Wright-Patterson Air Force Base here.
But like for me, like as an Air
and-
Force vet, my closest active duty bases are Dias up in Abilene, Shepherd up in I can't remember but Shepherd is about an hour and a half north, and then down in San Antonio.
Right.
So like because I live over in the Fort Worth area. There's a joint reserve base with the Navy and Marines here, but they have a very small fucking thing. So like they don't have hardly anything. I can, if I need something, it's very rare that I can go there for anything if I need something like from an actual base. So,
well, you guys calling everybody is going to light up the boards. We're already having our tipsters, telling us that it's a dumpster fire at the courthouse with these people.
Yeah.
Because, one of the comments was that someone said, I thought we shut Stafford down, about this veterans money.
In what way?
And, well, they won't let me talk. They're trying to stifle my free speech. Hell, it's so bad in the Republican Party in Greene County. When they had their Lincoln Day dinner, I had tickets to go to it, and they wouldn't let me go. They refunded my money, and then they hired armed guards, literally armed guards, to be at the Lincoln Day dinner in case I showed up, which I did because I had a room at the hotel there, and I asked questions in the hallway. So they don't want to answer the question, and they don't want to be held accountable.
God, Jesus, man. Okay. So we've gotten the Tim, what's his fuck, from the executive director for the VSC. Who would you say is the other?
You should call Brandon Huddleston he's the Greene County administrator. I don't have his number on me, but
Greene County administrator.
For the Greene County commissioners, his name's Brandon Huddleston.
Stand
you can
by.
call him, leave messages.
Stand by.
Brandon is on vacation right now, I think until April 22nd.
Fuck him.
So,
well, we can fill up his voicemail by the time he gets back.
I've already sent him a couple public records requests. Yeah. Well, Brandon's a hothead. I can tell you that.
Oh,
he's my favorite.
Fucking bring it.
He's easily triggered. Give you an example. In Greene County, no county employees are supposed to wear a gun, but Brandon Huddleston wears a gun to the commissioners' meeting. When I ask about it, Sheriff Anger didn't have an answer for me about why he was allowed to violate the county policy about employees being armed during working hours. So I don't know whether he needed to be armed because I was at the commissioners' meeting and that somehow I was a danger. But Brandon went from working in the wood shop for Greene County to being their administrator.
Rusty, pull him back up again.
God damn it. Why didn't you write it down? Okay.
Well, I was trying, but.
No, you weren't. You were sitting there looking at it. I was watching you.
I know. I'm retarded. I was reading.
There's nothing to read.
Okay, so his name is Brandon Huddleston, the Board of County Commissioners. His phone number is 937-562-5002. Y'all blow him up. Voicemails. Yeah. Let them know how you feel about this bullshit.
Board of County Commissioners.
Yeah.
Oh.
Who else should we be on the lookout for here?
Well, any of the county commissioners, Dick Gould or Tom Kugler. Tom Kugler is the one who's Mr. Banging the gavel
That's
like
the
a
douchebag.
lunatic.
Yeah.
What is it? What'd you say his name was?
Tom Kugler.
Kugler.
Let's see.
Hang on, it's loading.
Good.
Tom Kugler is there. The other one that's up for election is Dick Gould. And we've been working hard to defeat him. We like to call it draining the swamp in Greene County. So if we can get rid of Dick Gould, it'll be a step to trying to clean up these commissioners.
Well, Tom Kugler, he looks like a narcissist, and his phone number is 937-562-5006. So if any of y'all are combative on the phone, give his ass a call. Let him know how you feel about this whole situation.
Well, Tom's got a temper, so it'll be interesting.
This is
And
gonna
if you know how to record your phone calls, if we have listeners that will record the calls, reach out to us on the social media, or can they have access to the email or not?
If they just go to our link, if they go to our link tree, they'll find our email to email it to us.
Y'all can send me a email to the recording. We'll play it here. We'll put it out there. We'll put it on every social media, and
I'd love to hear it.
We will blast these motherfuckers.
Hey,
this is Dick Gould. Dick Gould's a special kind of person. The worst kept secret with Dick Gould is that for the last 5, 6, 7, 8 years, he's been having a special friend, a woman by the name of Sandy Brubaker, keeping her employed in high-paying jobs in Greene County while he's married.
For some under the table commission, right?
well, Dick Gould looks like he's got erectile dysfunction.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Under the table commission.
Yeah, I mean, it's been the worst kept secret in Greene County, him and his girlfriend. So, these people are not the moral. They don't have the moral character, I think, to be serving the citizens of Greene County, because all they're really doing is servicing themselves.
Quite literally.
Well, he's not servicing himself. Obviously, he employs a servicer.
So this is the same number. So I'm guessing it's a general board of commissioners number. It's the same number as a Kugler fuckface. So 937-562-5006, same number. So anybody who's going to make these calls, be specific in who you're asking for at that time. So you might have to make a separate call for Dick Gould, hang up, a separate call for fucking Kugler, hang up, and so on and so forth. Because it seems like this is just the general board of commissioners phone number. Still though, do it.
Yeah, I'll be surprised if anybody actually gets through where they get a call back.
If enough people call, they've got to answer once in a while.
So you say he's up for election. Who's the guy you guys are propping up against him? Like who should people
the candidate that we're supporting against Kugler, his name is Wes Smith.
Is it against Kugler or is it against Gould?
No, I'm sorry, against Dick Gould.
Okay.
The candidate that's going against Dick is Wes Smith. And
Smith.
I find it appropriate that Gould's first name is Dick. So, because he is a real dick. So we want to get him out of office. It'll send a clear message to these commissioners, actually the power that the newspaper has to influence the elections. So we've been working on getting Wes Smith elected, and we want to see Dick Gould out of there.
So obviously, if you're in the Greene County, Ohio area, look out for Wes Smith and
vote for Wes Smith.
Tell people about him. Get out there and push him. Get these other bullshit bureaucrats out of there, all these corrupt politicians, and let's get some people that really give a shit about veterans. If you're in Ohio, push for Vivek. obviously Vivek is showing that he's leaning towards the doing the right things for veterans. Get out there and say something and vote for these son of bitches.
Right. Well, I've told these politicians in Greene County, I've got a saying that you're our candidate until you're not.
Mm-hmm.
You do your job and we'll support you. But if you're not going to do your job, then we're going to help get rid of you.
Yep.
Damn, Wesley Smith looks like he could be your son.
Doppelganger.
Oh
man,
them genes are strong in Ohio.
Yeah.
Well, this is God, Jesus, man. It's still, I like to think that I could say, I understand. Not, and I guess I understand. Like, I'm not surprised, but still, some shit still finds me, makes me like go, damn, dude, this is really fucking happening. Like this, like I should say I'm not surprised because again, this is the government we're talking about, and the government's gonna find a way to fuck over its citizens. But shit, dude, like just a county commission is going to this great of lengths to cover up their bullshit when it's just like, and I said it on a couple podcasts ago, it's like, just own up to it. If you fucked up, just own up to it. You guys underestimate the power, how forgiving the electric will be if you just say, hey, there was a mistake made. We're rectifying it. We understand, like, and they just own up to your shit. The more you try to cover it up, the worse it just gets.
I agree. I mean, the easy way to fix this is to say we're giving the veterans 100% of the money that's set aside for them, but they're not going to do it. One of the things that I've been bringing up is that I believe that we should claw back the millions of dollars over the last decade and put it into the veterans account. I mean, be $20 million. The Greene County commissioners have the money, so
I can think of a lot of
right.
I think of a lot of good that could be done with $20 million for our veteran community in Ohio.
Oh yeah, I mean it's programs that can be initiated because we can fund it. So
yeah.
Well,
guys, I appreciate you guys taking the time and talk to me tonight.
It's been amazing.
I mean,
honestly, it's been eye opening. It's been holy shit, dude. And we want nothing more than to do whatever we can. We're still fighting our way through our grassroots founding and everything, but we're getting out there. We're doing, we're interviewing who and whatever for, at any point. And it's good to see, that we have people on the ground level like you that are trying to make a difference just locally. And too many people try to sit here and say that, we got to do something. Like, to me, the biggest misunderstanding of what the president, the executive office, and anybody can do is people that understand its power. People are like, well, shit here is so bad, and but Trump's not doing anything. Well, Trump doesn't have that kind of power. Like, he's the president of the country, yeah, but he doesn't have that kind of power to affect Greene County. Like, that's not how it works. And people need to understand that it takes people like you going to your local government, the county commission, wherever it be, whatever it be in the local area. That's who controls most of your hardships, and most of your shit that you're going through is right there in your community. And people need to realize that that's where you go to get change locally, not sit here and bitch about, well, the president this and the president that. Well, the president isn't gonna, no matter what the president does, they're not going to fix it because they don't have that power. They don't control Greene County.
Well, I've found that the only antiseptic to public corruption is for it to be published in the public square in the light of day and the citizens to read it.
Yep.
Yeah.
They've got to just read it and see what is going on. And with the regular mainstream media, at least in Ohio and especially in Greene County, there's nothing. They're not going to write anything bad about these politicians. And so it takes independent journalism to go out there, and one person can make a difference.
Yep.
You know, I'm an example of that. One person stood up and said no. You know, and in 2019, I personally defeated a property tax levy by the school district 3 different times.
Hell yeah.
You know, all you have to do is say no. I sued the school board for violating um, uh, the Ohio Sunshine laws. They were convicted on 10 different counts. But I am also the individual that filed a lawsuit against the Bellbrook School Board. And it's the only school board in the state of Ohio where the whole school board was indicted along with the superintendent and convicted in court for illegally spending public money.
Holy
That was me.
shit.
So
And
this
that's
is
when
all
I got
through
started.
Ohio. God damn.
Yeah, I actually changed the law in the state of Ohio. The Secretary of State had to go to all 88 counties and explain to them that they could not use public money in the school district to fund their levy campaigns to try to pass their levies. So one person can make a difference.
Yeah.
And that's what I've been able to do.
Hell
And
yeah.
like I said, we're getting credited with starting this property tax revolt here in Ohio from what we started in 2019.
Damn.
So you can make a difference, and I do believe all politics are local.
Mhm.
And what we allow on a local level seeps upward, and what we do not allow on a local level cannot go upward, and it affects the whole process.
Yeah.
All you have to do is say no.
Well said. Absolutely.
So, sidebar question, non-political. What's the biggest diamond you ever held?
Oh, 60 carat stone.
God.
How big is that?
Damn.
Like,
Oh, it's like a golf ball. It's
oh my
big.
God.
Still though, that's a fake
Is that the
fucking
most
diamond.
expensive
Yeah.
diamond you ever held?
Yes. Yes.
Who's
The
got
diamond business. I had an office in Singapore. I mean, it was, you know, it was a grand adventure. You know,
Oh,
I got in love with jewelry when I was in high school. They had a lapidary class, and so I was making jewelry for my fellow classmates for the girlfriend of the month. And I always wanted to be a jeweler, but I'm just a poor old Catholic kid working hard for a living. So I started a number of businesses until I had enough money to open our first jewelry store in 1986. So it's been a grand adventure.
Well, so you said you were a good little Catholic kid. I was about to say, are you Jewish? I mean, with all the diamonds and stuff. I mean, Jesus.
Oh no. I'm just a good old Catholic kid working hard for a living. I carry a rosary in my pocket every day. You know, that and my phone are the most dangerous weapons I have.
Good.
And that's what scares them.
What's
yeah.
the value of a 60 carat diamond nowadays?
Well, at the time when we sold that stone, it was almost $11 million.
Holy shit.
What? When was that?
That was in the early 90s. So the value on what it would be today is just through the moon.
Okay, so let's call 92. So let's say 11 million.
But my advice to you guys, if you're going to buy a diamond, buy the lab-grown diamonds.
Yeah.
You can't tell the difference. I can't tell the difference. I can sell you a lab-grown stone that's, let's say, 10 carats, that if it was what I call a natural stone, would be $1.2 million. I could sell you that stone for maybe $12,000, $13,000, and you can't tell the difference. I can't tell the difference.
So my second wife, her second ring, I think it was I'm not 100%. I believe it was a 2 carat or 2.5 carat stone. It was Israeli diamond. It was which I know you can't say a chocolate diamond because that's owned by Levion.
Yeah, right.
But we searched for this diamond and we had to go through some different avenues to get a hold of it. But we got a brown, that chocolate color, like 2.5 carat Israeli diamond, and because she didn't want a blood diamond or whatever, I'm like,
they're all blood
all
diamonds.
of them were, yeah. So, but yeah, I got her that, and I know how much that one cost, but God
So
dang.
$11 million in 1992, adjusted for inflation today, is just under 26 million.
Good.
Yeah, that's probably about right.
Wow.
So do you think was that like a polished cut diamond or was that a raw diamond?
Yeah, it was polished.
Whew.
What do you think they did with it?
He bought a Ferrari. She got the ring. So, but nowadays I tell everybody, I gave a lecture in New York years ago where I told everybody that at some point, the lab grown stones were going to take over the market.
Yeah.
And, they booed, they laughed. I thought they were going to throw their dinner biscuits at me. But
who's
now
laughing now?
Like,
Yeah.
yeah, it's. I tell everybody, just buy lab grown stone. You can get a beautiful stone at an affordable price, and no one can tell the difference. On a 2-carat stone that you would pay, say, $20,000 for, I can sell you a 2-carat stone that's lab grown for maybe $4,000, and you can't see. There's no difference.
Yeah.
Chemically and structurally, they're exactly the same.
Well, and the crazy part is the resale market on diamonds. So it's like there's like what a 600% markup at a jewelry store, but if you try to turn around and buy one and then sell it on the open market, like you can't even touch what you paid for it. That's what made me realize it wasn't a great investment. But I don't know. I'm dumb and I like watches and fucking stupid shit like that. So,
well, I tell everybody diamonds are never really an investment. If you're going to buy watches, buy a Rolex. The Rolex market went nuts. I personally don't understand it, but it's supply and demand.
Yeah.
What kind of watch you wear?
Right now, I'm not wearing any watch. So, I'm retired.
Yeah.
So, my need to impress anybody any longer is no longer there.
No.
Okay.
I like to tell everybody I'm closer to the end than the beginning, so I just don't care.
Love it. I love it. Well, is there here's a good chance. So y'all got a website, Greene County is Sentinel News.
Greene County Sentinel News on Facebook.
Okay, it's on Facebook. Do you have an actual website as well?
We're developing that right now, and it hasn't been launched.
Okay.
So you're going to want to make sure your listeners get on the actual Greene County Sentinel News, because our critics have set up multiple fake accounts and stuff.
We'll make sure we share it. Yeah. And then, and
that's, they like to claim we're not a real, newspaper. I'm not a real reporter. But they can't argue with 30 million plus views in 90 days. So,
well, we'll when we get this up and we get it, cut up in some shorts and all that, we'll definitely get you some of everything, and you can put everything on there. And hell, maybe we can reach some more people and make a little revolution there as well as everywhere else in this nation, because people really need to start looking into their communities and seeing what they're doing.
Well, if we can just get the veterans their money, not only in Ohio, but across the country, then it's a job well done. And I can, put my head on my pillow at night and feel good about what we're doing. I mean, I get nothing out of this. Yeah. There's nothing that I get except, like I say, the slings and arrows from these people. I go to these meetings every week. I get thrown out every week. But we're persistent, and that's what they don't understand. Why do we keep on doing it? Well, we keep on doing it because it's the right thing to do.
Yep.
And if I'm not going to do it, who else is going to do it?
Yeah.
So,
okay.
But I do appreciate this exposure tonight, guys, and everything that you guys are doing. So if there's anything I can do for you guys, or if you have any other questions, just give me a call.
No, I absolutely appreciate you making the time to come on, man. Thank you so much.
And you have an open invitation. You have an open invitation as this process is going. Anytime you want to be on, we'll make time. We won't have all the technical difficulties. We've kind of got you figured out a little bit, and
yeah.
And hell,
Oh, that's all from my end. I'm at that age where some days I'm lucky I got pants on. Okay. So the technology end is a little bit harder for me, but I'm going to have my internet guru fix this up on my computer. So next time, we've got everything working how it should be. And I
well,
appreciate your patience and your understanding.
and then we can talk offline, and I can give you some ideas of some things that might make it easier for you to do more of these with more people in the future on a good setup and everything to get you where you really need to be. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, keep me in the loop. I want to know if any of your listeners are able to get through, or
Yeah,
any comments that any of these players in Greene County have to say.
absolutely. You got anything else?
I'm good.
All right. Well, like I said, we can't thank you enough. And any given time, something comes up, you need us to put something out there. You say, "Hey, I got something. I want to come on." You just let us know. Like he said, we'll make the time. But guys, go flood every single one of those people, the numbers and everything we put on there. Flood their inbox. Call them. Demand accountability. Demand answers. Go and follow John on his Facebook page. I put it up there, Greene County Sentinel News, and just we have to demand accountability and answers at the ground level, because if we don't, then we never get answers as they move up. We have to start at the bottom and grassroots and move our way up. Any closing remarks, Dusty?
No, man. You had the blow these motherfuckers up, call them constantly, like blow their phone lines up, leave as many voicemails as possible. Just, we need to create change. And if you're in the Ohio area, or if you're in Greene County, vote these assholes out, or stand up. If you see something's wrong with it, stand up and run against them.
Yep.
Stand up and run against them.
If any veterans are in Greene County and they're listening to this, come on Thursdays. It's 1:00. Come stand with me. And I'll ask the question, where's the veterans money?
Absolutely.
And we can get thrown out together.
Hell yeah. Yeah, how much of a viral video that is when they arrest a veteran for asking where the veteran money is. That's what we need. And so,
well,
yeah. All right, guys. Well, thanks for tuning in. Make sure you like, comment, share, subscribe. But most importantly, never forget, text forever, motherfucker.